Is there any sense of a pang of envy that you're not joining that procession later today?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, honestly, for me, this is the first time going to the Olympics since 2008. Feeling a lot less stress and a lot less nervous. So no, no, definitely not. I'm just so excited to actually get out there soon.
Fair enough, completely fair enough. Talk to me about what that's like, because people talk about athletes preparing 4 years for the Olympics, but that seems unfair. Athletes are preparing from childhood, that dream, that hope, that aspiration that goes on for many people well into their 20s before they take place in an Olympics or stand on a podium. What is it like then, it all coming to a crescendo as it does for these 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, like athletes' careers are over a lot longer, a lot of the time than 4 years. And your day to day, you're 24/7. Like you're not a 9 to 5. Like every time you step outside or you wake up, you're constantly thinking about how you're feeling and how you think it's going to go. But honestly, the last 2 weeks before the Olympics, I always think were the easiest because all the hard work really is done. It's like the less training that you'll do because you're tapering, like you're working towards your performance. And so this bit really for me was the fun bit. Like I really enjoyed the final couple of weeks. And then when you get there, it really will. After today, it will feel to them like it's started. Like the opening ceremony is the thing that kind of gets the Olympics going.
What's your advice to the athletes who are in the village, who are amongst the midst of all of the madness, I guess, of some respects, and also the excitement of the Olympics? What do they need to do to keep a cool, calm, collected head?
I mean, for me, it was always about like treating it as any other bike race, because as much as everyone is watching it. Like, there's no taking away from the fact the Olympics is like no other sporting event in the world, but you've got to treat it like you would anything else. Like, don't get wrapped up in this huge kind of performance that goes on around in the background. You've just got to treat it how you normally would and approach it like you would any other training session or any other bike race.
There is, of course, unfortunately, a slight cloud over Team GB with regards to the allegations made against Charlotte Dujardin, the dressage athlete, and having to pull out of the Olympics. What do you make of that ahead of such an important moment for the squad?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, I have no, like, that's not a sport that I've ever been involved in or I know very little about. But I mean, obviously, I have seen the videos and I mean, I don't know the do's and don'ts with horse training. I have absolutely no clue. But all I know is I am an animal lover and I spend my time adopting animals. And I just, yeah, I would hate the fact that that horse had been in pain at any time. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know from, their kind of governing body background. I have no clue about the do's and don'ts, but I would hate to think of any animal being hurt.
What do you think that news, that impact will have on the team? How well insulated, how well supported are you as athletes with regards to working through the Olympics and the run up to it?
I mean, I think that probably would have come to a shock to Team GB, but actually, in terms of an effect, I think it probably only really affects her team because obviously someone else will now step into that team. And so that will obviously change kind of the way that they work. But I think in terms of every other team, it won't really have an effect. I mean, athletes don't tend to read much coming, like working towards the Olympics. You don't tend to read anything that you see in the newspapers or on the news. And lots of athletes also ban themselves from social media. So you'd have obviously heard of it, but I don't actually think it'll have a huge effect on the team's performance at all.
Team GB has great pedigree in cycling, not least of all thanks to your household, it's fair to say. Who should we be looking out for in 2024?
I mean, for me, I keep saying the same person and then I keep regretting it because I'm like, don't put pressure on her. But Emma Finncoon is tipped to win, I believe, 3 gold medals, and she could be the first female to do so in one Olympic Games. Now, she's only 21, but honestly, that girl knows how to race, and she's got both the mentality and the performance to shine. And yeah, so I believe Emma could be a golden girl of these Olympics.
3 Olympic gold potentials at the age of just 21 is no mean feat at all. Who are the big challengers for Team GB on the track?
I mean, always Australia. You know, France being in a home at their home games. The Dutch. There's always a few. You know, it's the same ones time and time again. And it would just be really interesting to see. I actually think this time it's probably more open than it has been before in terms of, you know, we're not having like a one-on-one with just one nation. I think there's a whole load of teams this time round that could actually perform really well.
And of course, just very briefly, lots of Brits travelling across to France, probably more Brits going than any other nation after than the French. How much does that impact your level of support and feeling of success?
Oh, I mean, honestly, absolutely huge. I mean, NatWest actually have just put some research in for their travel rewards credit card, and they've just proved that a home crowd can help an individual win a medal 5% more than without a home crowd. And that's huge, you know. So please, right, anyone that's currently listening to the news
Dame
with all
Laura,
the troubles,
I'm
please
going to have to
go.
stop you. We're short of time. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for
That's all
joining
right.
us. Do stay
Thank
with us
you.
here on Sky News.